Alright guys, today we are rehousing an absolutely stunning Asian arboreal tarantula, and that is the Poecilotheria metallica. Now I've had this enclosure sitting around for a while now, this front opening terrarium, and as soon as I knew I was going to the Scottish Invertebrate Show, there was one spider that I had on my list that I thought would be absolutely perfect for this enclosure. And I was lucky enough to find a young female from Shortbread Spiders, who is an amazing breeder up in the north of Scotland. And that is my little Poecilotheria metallica, which I got for 85 quid, which is incredible for a poke. So let's set up its new home and get it moved in. Now, as with all of my other builds, I am of course going to be going bioactive in this. And I'm sure we know by now that starts with a good substrate. So I have got some pre-mixed substrate here that is made up of some organic potting soil, a little bit of cocoa fibre, some chopped up sphagnum and some leaf litter. Now with these arboreals we don't need to go too deep with the substrate because the likelihood is that they are not really going to make any burrows. But I still like to give all my arboreals enough depth to build a little burrow if they want to. And the easiest way to do that in a little terrarium like this, where you've maybe not got as much room at the bottom to fill up to, is to slope it up towards the back. So I got my substrate in, we're just going to pat it down a little bit and smooth it out. Now I am going to try and use the cork bark that is already in our little pokey's enclosure. So we'll see if we can get this out without the guy escaping, or the girl, sorry, without her escaping. And she is very fast. If you have not seen a pokey move yet, they are like lightning. So my biggest tip when dealing with pokies is to always have the lid when you're putting anything in or taking it out, to always have it partially closed, so you know exactly where it can go and where it can. And that makes it a lot easier to be moving stuff in and out. Now, there was a little red runner on this, I think it's down in the soil now. So this is the piece of cork flat that I was already using. I don't like the look of this flat, so what we are going to do is just pull at the edges to make it a little bit more ragged. So just with my pliers here, I'm going to grab a bit, twist and break. Already looking much more natural. So we'll place that in. Now a lot of guys like to use cork bark tubes with their arboreals, but I am not a big fan of that, and it is simply because if you then have to do any later rehousings from a cork bark tube, that spider can just get stuck in there and it can be near impossible to get them out at times. Add in another slightly thicker piece of cork bark side here, and behind that thicker piece I'm going to stuff down some sphagnum. There's a couple of extra things I want to add in there, but that is really going to help with the humidity. Now obviously with this being bioactive, I want to have some greenery in here. So I've got just some standard lawn moss, which I collect myself, quarantine and soak to get rid of any pests, or as much pests as I can. I'm going to pop that in at the fronts. So that will spread and it just gives a little bit more colour to the terrarium straight off. And there we go, I'd say that's already looking pretty good. I'm going to add some plants, and that is where our Tradescantia is perfect. So that will eventually grow up over the top. Now I do also want some springtails, so I'm just going to knock them off of my gecko's manky little food bowl. There we go, that's a nice good start, and then that will go to the cockroaches. Next I'm going to sprinkle over the trusty leaf litter. And as always, add in the water bowl. Now some people don't add water bowls in for arboreals. I would say no matter the tarantula, the spider, you always want to give it a water bowl, some way to access water. Some guys will even glue them up on the side to make it easier for them to access. I don't bother with that, I just pop it on the ground again, because they will spend some time down on the ground, especially if they're looking for water. And with that, our new terrarium is done. And now that our enclosure is finished, it is the part I am absolutely dreading, and that is the rehousing itself. If you guys have never rehoused pokies before or any of the old world arboreals, they are lightning quick, they can have a full temper, they are just a pain in the arse at times. So our little girl is just hanging out in the corner up here. I am going to try and catch Cupper and use my plastic sheet to kind of trap her in so I can lift her out, and then we'll try and get her into the new enclosure. It's always a bit of a pain when they're in the corner like this. What I might try and do is, it's quite handy that I've got my stick because it fits through these holes. Just give her a little tap on the back foot, see if we can get away from the corner slightly. Okay, she's being pretty calm so far. Right, she's playing good. So now I'm going to slide my bit of plastic down the back. Right, good so far. And now that I've got the plastic there, what I can do is set the lid over the cup and slowly, and there we go. Nice and smooth. We now have a pokey in a cup. Absolutely beautiful colours. Oh, she's opened the lid. Don't want to just squeeze through that. Now, how do we get her in? Right, we are part way there. Now, if a spider that can be a little bit hard to judge at times, it is always good to tidy up as you go, because what you don't want is mess if chaos erupts. So I'm going to pop all the tools that I'm keeping out over here. Everything else is going to go away. Now let's see if we can get her out of the cup. Right, we have got her in. It was a nice drama-free rehousing. I forgot to press record as I was getting her out of the cup, but let's see if we can get some nice close shots. Those colours are incredible. What are you doing? This isn't about you today. Well guys, that was another what I would say very smooth rehousing done for what can potentially be quite a frisky tarantula. So it just goes to show, if you're prepared and you're nice and calm, there's no reason that these rehousings need to erupt into chaos with tarantulas running everywhere. And to be honest, I'm starting to think some of the guys on YouTube do it on purpose just for the views. But let me know what you guys think of this enclosure. Is there anything you would add? Is there anything you would take away? And also, let me know any other animals that you would like to see featured on the channel. I am looking at potentially getting some ants, which I'm hoping I'll be able to sort out soon. I would also love to get another couple scorpions. If there is anything else you can think of that you think would be a good suit for here, let me know and I'll see what I can do. In terms of the channel's future and progress, there's a couple of things we're working to. One is we are trying to get our watch hours up so we can then start to make some money from YouTube, so we can actually get a little bit of monetization happening. That would help us invest a little bit more into the animals, and it would also make it a little bit easier for me to invest my time into these videos. So one way you could help out is just simply by watching the videos. Share them with some friends, maybe watch one of the longer format videos, and all those watch hours add up to us essentially getting monetized in the end. But I also just wanted to thank you guys for your support so far. The channel has grown so quickly in the last few months and it's been an absolute blast. So I'm looking forward to making some more videos in the future. And until next time, cheerio and drasta. Let's see if we can get some bonus feeding content.